Welcome to the SVG Television's Evening News for Friday, March 13th. I'm Khalil Kato with the details. A 5-year education cooperation agreement was signed here today between the Ministry of Education and the Martinican Academy. The agreement was signed in partnership with the French Embassy for the OECS member states based in St. Lucia and the Alliance Française. Director of the Alliance, Vanessa Demercian, says the agreement is a result of many years of friendship between Martinique and St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
It will give us a lot of hope and new perspectives, encouraging respective trainings and mobility for teachers and students. The Alliance Française is very proud to be associated to it and to be able to assist with its means and expertise, as well as with the offer of the DELF and DALF, two certificates for which we are examination centers and that are officially internationally recognized. These certificates, offered by levels twice a year, give access to study and mobility in France and French-speaking countries. Generally, I hope that it will reinforce the teaching of French in St. Vincent and the Grenadines at all levels and give teachers and students a new dynamic. Teachers need to be motivated to have the means they need to transmit their knowledge and love for the language. Students need to realize how necessary the learning of a foreign language, most of all in our days, is important, and also most of all in our region. We know that Martinique just entered the OECS. Borders and markets are going to be open, and we need Vincentians to be part of it.
The Minister of Education, Gerlin Miguel, noted that the government is committed to providing education of a high quality to all students and took the opportunity to outline some of the elements of the agreement with the Martinican Academy.
This agreement establishes a framework for cooperation on educational initiatives relating to the training in the French language of Vincentian students and the teachers in English of Martinican students and teachers via face-to-face methods, as well as with the use of information and communication technology. To facilitate the development of the students and the teachers' competence in French, immersion language programs will be offered, as well as linguistic exchanges for both groups. The agreement also provides for other strategies to be employed to make the teaching and the learning of French part of a more dynamic and authentic process as we prepare our students for life and work in the regional and international spheres.
Minister Miguel said it is her hope that the agreement will provide a solid framework for the promotion of the teaching and learning of French at 3 levels: primary, secondary, and post-secondary.
We wish through this means to heighten interest among our nationals and to make them fully aware of the importance of foreign language learning in the broadening of the vista for their academic and eventual professional opportunities. Even as we sign this agreement, we are preparing to offer foreign language instruction here to nationals of another country in the region. It is hoped that this will be an important link in the ties which are being forged with our Spanish-speaking and French-speaking neighbors in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, let us work together as important entities in the Caribbean to meet the needs of our developing nations.
Meanwhile, Head of Education in Martinique, Dr. Catherine Berthaud-Lavenir, says the agreement constitutes a real step forward in their policy of local, regional, and international cooperation.
The Academy is looking into any opportunities to develop and consolidate our relationships with our partners in the Caribbean. One of the main goals of the overall Academy project is to develop relationships with other countries. This is the primary objective that will guide the cooperation between our countries. We hope to reach this goal through the following steps. First, developing and fostering international work placements. Second, mastering 2 foreign languages by the end of college. Third, broadening cultural awareness and knowledge base with the help of mobility through local authorities' support. This present agreement will support, amplify, and give structure to a dynamic effort which is already well underway, so limited to only a few schools at the moment.
Another batch of college and university graduates here will soon commence employment under the government's Support for Education SET program. Speaking at the 2015 awards ceremony today at the Methodist Church Hall, Cabinet Secretary Kathy Ann Barnwell explains that the graduates between the ages of 18 and 35 will be contracted for a 1-year period with a goal of obtaining meaningful work experience. Barnwell also spoke highly of the performance and standard by Cohort 1 of the SET program and challenged Cohort 2 to strive to surpass that of the initial group.
This is for those who leave us, we're sorry to see you go. And for those who are joining us, we wish you the very best during your time on the program. I want to remind you of something, because I understand that there is some anxiety. Whether you're joining the program and you do not know what to expect, or you're leaving and you don't know what to expect, what is going to be your next path, your direction, or whatever. I want to remind you that things do not always work out for us in the same ways at the same times. That is why we found that there were persons who very early on were offered permanent employment and others who are still looking. What I am sure of is that our paths in life are as individual and unique as is our DNA as human beings. So do not be scared, don't be frightened. What I'm sure, what you need to be sure of, is that there is a God up there who's watching out for each and every one of us.
Some of the interns of Cohort 1 used the opportunity to speak of their experiences and perspectives of the program.
My advice to you is, no matter what you do and no matter how far you reach in life, stay humble. I worked very hard on every task that I was given. I showed up on time and stayed overtime when needed. I offered help even when I wasn't asked. As time passed by, I was assigned to do other tasks, because as you do things well, even the little things, people will notice and be willing to entrust you with larger things.
I am pleased to say that the SET program has met my expectations, including finding permanent employment. I am now permanently employed at the Ministry of Education as school feeding coordinator. When I think about my experience on the SET program, a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt comes to mind. It states that people grow through experience if they meet life honestly and courageously. This is how character is built. For indeed, the SET program was definitely an experience whereby I grew as an individual. My experience not only challenged me, but caused me to eventually change my outlook on life, including certain aspects of my persona.
This program has been an extremely visionary activity, which has had a wide acclaim here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and has provided a model for other regional territories to emulate. I can speak with some accuracy when I state that the training activity within which we participated has been extremely useful and would have provided significant insight into the operations of the various departments within which we served.
A representative from Cohort 2 also spoke of his expectations for the program over the next year.
I'm expecting that this program will provide the necessary experiences that will ensure a smooth transition into the world of work. 2, the knowledge that we will be exposed to in the various places that we will be working would spark innovative ideas for personal and national development. 3, we will develop skills which would enable us to be more marketable and competitive locally, regionally, and internationally. 4, the concepts and theories Born in academia will come to life during this 1-year period that would spend in the different ministries and organizations. This will therefore give us a better understanding of how these concepts can be applied in the world of work.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves told the gathering earlier today that as long as he has life and is Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, he will not turn back from ensuring that every single boy and or girl here has an equal opportunity and access to quality education from early childhood to university.
I hear the debate. 10 drop out here, 5 drop out there. Well, if you didn't go in the first place, you wouldn't have been able to drop out to migrate, as happens in many cases. As Sister Girl in McGill gave the statistics. The opposition in this country is still fighting the education revolution and its successes and bad-talking it at every single stage. And it's a shame on them and anybody who support that kind of foolishness. The
Prime Minister says there is an inescapable fact that an education revolution has taken root in SVG, and while his government still has to perfect it, it has allowed all people the opportunity to higher education.
Every single person who has the matriculation qualifications to enter university, because you have to have the entry qualifications. Once you have the entry qualifications to enter university, and you have the desire to go to university, so long as I am Prime Minister, you will be able to go to university.
In an effort to sensitize Vincentians about their rights as consumers, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade partnered with several entities to put on an exhibition today at the Singer Building. March 15th is World Consumer Rights Day, WCRD, an annual occasion for celebration and solidarity within the international consumer movement. It marks the date in 1962 when U.S. President John F. Kennedy first outlined the definition of consumer rights. Speaking to SVGTV, Consumer Affairs Officer Philon Douglas says it is important for persons to know what is allowed for importation and exportation according to the laws of this country, as well as how to ensure their food safety when shopping. Douglas further stated that World Consumer Rights Day is an opportunity to promote the basic rights of all consumers, to ensure those rights are respected and protected, and for protesting the market abuses and social injustices which undermine them.
Today we have an exhibition celebrating World Consumer Rights Day. Now, World Consumer Rights Day is held on the 15th of March each year from 1962 and onwards. That is when the first consumer rights was introduced. From 1962, this 15th of March, and every year it is known as World Consumer Rights Day. So today we have the different consumer agencies in St. Vincent and the Grenadines displaying trying to give an overview as to what their department and what the ministry is all about. Up here, there's Customs and Excise. We have the Bureau of Standard, the Consumer Affairs, the Nutrition Department, and down to the end there is the Public Health Department.
Earlier today, the Adelphi Secondary School held a heritage program on the school's compound in commemoration of National Heroes Day, which will be celebrated tomorrow. The program featured the display of costumes, the demonstration of cocoa grinding, roasting of food items, baking, storytelling, and drama. There was also an exhibition mounted outside the school showcasing a number of artifacts. At a brief opening ceremony, principal of the school, Hugh Thomas, told the students that though they might not fully grasp the significance of National Heroes Day, it is important for them to understand their past in order for them to know where they are going.
Because our past helps us to explain the present and is a good indicator of what the future holds. And this is what history is all about. Knowing the past helps us to explain the present and help us to, with some degree of accuracy, predict the future.
Member of Parliament for the area, Frederick Stevenson, congratulated the school for hosting the Heritage Day program and also reiterated to the students the importance of knowing their history in order for them to transform themselves for the future.
Secondary school started out many years ago with just over 20 students. Now today you have over nearly 200. That's a great transformation. Maybe in the first batch of students, maybe 2 or 3 of them would have excelled and have taken the rightful places in society. But now, anywhere you go throughout the length and breadth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you meet a professional who would have passed through the doors of the Adelphi Secondary School. And that is a challenge for you. That you have to come here, make your mark, leave your mark in the schools. I don't mean physically write it up. But whatever you do in a positive way, and so you transcend out into the society in which you live.
Stevenson also encouraged the students to continue to lift the school by putting their best foot forward in whatever they do.
Well, you continue to be #1 in the school's agribusiness. I want to encourage you to continue. I also want to encourage you, the students, and to encourage the teachers, because the statistics show that we are lagging a little in terms of mathematics and English language. I want to encourage you, the students, because if you do not put your best foot forward, no matter what the teacher would do for you would not help you. But you have to challenge yourself. Okay? History is one of the subject areas that I believe that the students, especially in the country area, should become involved in. I want to encourage the students to study history, especially the Caribbean history, so that we can understand who we are as a people, and not for persons to come and give us their own understanding of who they think we are.
Meanwhile, one of the history students at the school took the opportunity to explain some of the artifacts that were on display at the exhibition.
My name is Kiara Shat. I'm a student of Adelphi Secondary School, doing history, pharmacotechnical. These are indigenous ancient artifacts known to us by a guy from Fancy named Devon Child. This is a pottery. This is a grinding stone, and over here we have a top, human ancient artifact, and a reptile. These are stones, and this is a piece of axe. The axe are used for like cutting woods and stuff like that. And while the pottery is used for making food.
And the C.W. Prescott Primary School also held an exhibition and ceremony earlier today in honor of the indigenous peoples of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The exhibition, held in the schoolyard, featured some items that were reportedly utilized by our ancestors, as well as some cultural performances. Also attending the event were 2 descendants of the Garifuna tribe, one of whom spoke to SVGTV about the need for the education system to be focused on teaching the history of the Garifuna people to ensure that the Vincentian heritage is not forgotten. Augustine Sutherland also stated that the pictures that were painted of his people should be corrected.
Our history, a lot of things we get from the Muzungu people, the white people, and I think now it should be changed, and it ain't too late for it to change. So long as we get it into the people and the younger people, it will change, because a lot of things that doing is not of our ancestors and great-great-grandparents' way of life. So we go all out to start to change it. Stigma between the Caribou, the Kalinago people. It's because of the same Muzungu try to put the Kalinago people, the Africans people against the Kalinago people, because they was against the Kalinago people. And seeing that they have the Africans as slaves, the Africans adopt what the Muzungu people have. So they have no other choice but to hate the Kalinago people just as the Muzungu. So a real stigma there, until not too long ago, that kind of changed, and it changed rapidly right now.
The Primary Schools Performing Arts Festival, PRISPAF, has concluded and has been deemed another success. Some 55 primary schools from across the country are said to have participated in the festival, which commenced last month and saw preliminary judging over a 5-week period, ending in a 2-day showcase at the Methodist Church Hall. Schools presented a variety of items which included songs, poems, monologues, dances, instrumentals, drama, and many other forms of theatrical expressions. The 3 best pieces were selected from each school and showcased at the 2 grand days on Tuesday, March 10th and Wednesday, March 11th. In the special awards handed out, the most disciplined school went to the Brighton Methodist, the best prepared school, the Bel Air Primary, best poem, the Cane End Government, best instrumental band, the Richland Park Government, best female vocalist was Hannah Williams of the Kingstown Prep School, and best male vocalist, Keanu Providence of the C.W. Prescott Primary. The Prince of PRISPAF was awarded to Shane Thomas of the Mariaquaw Government School, while the Princess Award went to Runisa Cato of the Turuma Government. The 55 schools who participated in this year's festival were all given certificates of participation.